What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Turbo John YouTube channel. I'm Turbo John, and we're going to talk about something that's kind of been on the back burner for a little while now. Had some thoughts of what I was going to do with it, but I'm gonna let y'all in on what my plan is. I'm gonna let y'all in on what my plan is right now at the moment for this aluminum small block Chevrolet. I've been holding on to it. I've been walking by it. It's been reaching out and grabbing me, trying to trip me every now and again. Tell me what you think. What do you think? Is this a good plan? Is this a bad plan? Is it a good idea, a bad idea? Let me show you what all broke. We did tear it up, but it's not terrible. Small block Chevrolet, all aluminum rods, aluminum heads, single turbo. I mean, it's been fast. This car back here is the one I wrecked it in, but that little small block's been putting in work. Let me show you how bad this thing's tore up first. Show you what we got to do, and then give me your ideas. What do you think? Is this a good idea or a bad idea? Comment, like, and subscribe if you have not already subscribed. Hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a thing. It's free. It really helps the channel grow, and we're trying to grow this channel. Appreciate it, guys. All right, boys. Well, we got a lot of stuff going on here. So this is the small block Chevrolet. It is 410 cubic inches. Aluminum block that we got 2 years ago, I think it was. It's got a scat forged crankshaft in it. This crankshaft's actually pretty good. It's got aluminum MGP rods on it. We're about 2 seasons in on the rods, so we were fixing to pull these out and take them out anyway when we had this happen. But you know, I don't know. I might put them back in. I might leave them in. Let me show you what kind of damage we got, and then we'll go from there. I don't know. What do y'all think? Should I change the rods? We've probably 200 passes on these rods now. Now we did just damage a piston, and I'll show you that. And there's a couple little nicks on the rods, and you can see them down in there. I mean, kind of mid-beam. They don't feel real bad. They don't feel real deep. I have run much worse, and you see some of my pistons down in there. They're all beat up too because, you know, it's just the life of a used motor. Scat crank, aluminum block. This is a Brodix block. It's been lightened. So this is a really nice block. Let's see if I can get this thing turned over with one hand. Well, my little thing come out here. So, in pretty good shape. It's got the Kevin Mullins top fuel hoop treatment. This thing is so much easier to turn over than my big block. That big block is brutal. I don't know if you heard that. Something else that's interesting. I have no idea how they got them in there. Which I guess I could have went in through the back. There's a piece of metal. There's a rod down in there. I guess it's something to make it so that it does not rust, or it does rust, I guess. I don't know. But these are CP bullet pistons. Most of them are in pretty good shape. There's a couple of them that we've damaged over the years. Not too bad. That's the one, obviously, that's missing. And then this right here is one that's got a pretty big dent in it. I haven't pulled it out yet. But you can see we got the receiver grooves in the block. This is the top fuel hoops. I'll show you those on the heads. That is a big receiver groove. This is a 4.165 bore. So it's one of those things that's, you know, kind of maxed out. This piston and this deck spacing, kind of you get what you get. It is very maxed out. We had some issues with oil drain back. We talked about that. These are the only 2 holes that drain back there. So we had to put a vent off of this to make it work properly, and that worked like a champ. So this is a super lightweight block. Pretty good rotating assembly. You know, not bad. Not a bad deal at all. Very good motor. You know, don't have a ton of money in this one because we, you know, got it used. Got a lot of stuff used on it. Let me show you the piston that we tore up. Okay, so this is the rod, MGP rod. See that? It's got a few dents and dings in the beam here, but nothing major. They're not super hard. Nothing, you know, super deep. It doesn't seem like. I'd probably take a roll pin and, you know, do those out. But when you look at the top of the piston, boom, y'all, we got a hole. There's a hole in that, Johnny. Piston ring lane, of course, was kind of jacked up. These pistons, like I said, these are box stock pistons. The part number on these pistons is BC 1200 -040. So it's just an off-the-shelf piston. This piston, replacement piston, and get off a Summit for $150. Comes with rings and everything. So that one obviously is damaged. A little knot on it, a little bit of a dome. So that is really good, really cool. So we need 2 pistons. This piston And honestly, that piston right there would be okay. That is a pretty good indent, but it's in the thick part. It's not right in the ring. I bet the ring is probably not stuck on that one. We're not gonna pull it out today, but it could be. But I don't know. But I'm gonna probably get it $150. We gotta decide if we're going to. Obviously, the crankshaft's good. Something I did not show. This is a used belt driver put on a long time ago. This also has Kevin's roller thrust bearing. You can see that thing up in there. That roller thrust bearing helps thrusts live in a ton, because the bearing is actually taking all the load. Because if y'all remember, on my thrust bearing, I ended up messing it up. The crankshaft needed to be fixed, and we didn't fix it. So we're only riding on the front thrust bearing. Probably need to take it apart and look at it, but other than that, the block is probably good. Bottom end, I can put 2 pistons in it, and the bottom end, I can put the oil pan back on it. We have a assembled long block. Like I was saying, I was planning on finishing this whole year out on these rods, and we're almost on season number 2, but we got to decide if it's a good idea to keep these in there, or if we need to take them out and get them. Rods have gone up quite a bit now. They used to be very cheap. They used to be $1,200. I think they're $1,600 now. And there's a couple different ones, GRP, MGPs. I'm really digging the MGP. Sam Vincent normally has these right in stock also. So you can see it looks good. I mean, obviously, this is the crank side. This is the side that rides up against the other rod. I mean, no real damage. You can see the bearings look good. The bearings are, I don't even know if I'll put bearings in this thing. The rings are this season old, but the bearings look phenomenal. They are, man, the bearings are not hurt. We just had a mechanical failure, and that's what took us out. So these are Pro Top lines. These are box stock Pro Top lines. 176/21 profiler, 210 cc heads. Box stock. I haven't done any port work to them. There's nothing in there port work wise. This head actually turned out pretty decent. Not too bad at all. You can see the top fuel hoops. This is Kevin's deal. There's a couple other builders that do similar, but it's a little different. He makes these hoops actually in-house. And it's a big O-ring, but it's solid. It does not have an end. There's no joint, so you don't have any weak spots. And so this head actually looks pretty good. And then when you go over to this head, this is the one that actually failed. It just is what it is. You can see what happened. The valve seat dropped out of it, and it just destroyed this chamber. Now, if this was a super high-end head, if this head was, super duper expensive, then obviously we would be paying somebody to weld this up, and then they would take it apart, weld all this stuff up in the chamber, which it would be pretty easy to weld it up. Weld this stuff up in the chamber, take that piece out, weld that piece in, and then put new seats in it and call it done. And I have done that before. You see everything stayed in the hoops, so the block's not hurt. All the block stuff is fine. That right there is interesting though, isn't it? Look how high that sticks out. But you got quench area, so that does not, the head, the piston doesn't go all the way to this. So that's why the indent's not quite so big. That one up there, that's part of the seat. That's what you're seeing, guys. That's what that metal is. That is the actual seat, where the seat broke off. And so that is some carnage, man. But the valve did not break. We thought at first maybe the valve broke. And these are good valves. I don't remember which ones we put in it, but they're good valves. Good intake, good exhaust valves. And you can see when it come up. And that's what I thought when it first happened. I thought we broke the head off a valve, dropped a valve. But the actual retainer, 10-degree retainers, and these are ISKI. I think the part number is 1226 on the part number on these. But you can see all of them, the intakes and exhaust, they're a little bit different on the way they're set up. And that's just the valve, the way the valve does it. Probably ideally we would have lash caps on these to give us a little bit more clearance, because you can see a little of them, a couple of them are kind of close there. So that's our carnage. So that's what we got. So in order to get this thing back together, we need 2 pistons, and then we need heads. So we got to decide. I went to Profiler's website. I was thinking about just getting some bare castings and then taking all my valves and springs out of that side, putting it in. Obviously, these are good. So these valves only need to get an intake valve and an exhaust valve. And these springs over here are good. There's nothing wrong with the springs, most likely. We'll run them, get Danny or somebody to run through the valve springs to make sure they're still checking good. I'm pretty sure they're going to be. And then just slap it all back together. You can get these castings. These 23-degree castings are $800. So that's not terrible. $800 a piece. Bare. So we can do that. And then the turbo stuff, we got the intake, mid plate, turbo. We got our turbo kit, everything over here. We got our T&D rocket arms. Now, I don't know if y'all noticed, but I am getting T&D rocket arms for the new big block. I talked to T&D Shelton. He said those blue ones down there are from like 1990. So clearly the rocket arms make a huge difference. And, you know, these are offset. And I think these were actually I got them from old Roundy Round guy. So I think they're actually for like maybe an 18-degree head, but they fit on those profilers really good. And I didn't see any problem with the geometries. So they actually worked. Maybe they were for a set of 23-degree heads and he just didn't know. But if you notice also, down in here I do run thick push rods. I run a 3/8" push rod. And now it takes quite a bit of clearance to get these big push rods to clear. So lots of grinding, and you can see that one right there has even got a couple of scuff marks on the aluminum from where it didn't quite get it big enough. Same thing down in there. But, you know, that's just one of the things. When it scuffs a little bit, that's probably not that big a deal. That one over there probably needed to be clearanced a little bit more. Is that a scuff? I think it is. It looks like that one might have been flexing or something. Obviously, no issues with the heads. So you do have to run them. And notice also those rocker arms are offset. So this helps. So having an offset rocker really helps the whole deal, because that makes it so that the push rod, you can see without offset, then that push rod would not line up in that hole with a big one. So it would have to be offset. And so that's what these are. I can't remember the offset on these, but this right here is amazing. So these T&D rockers are freaking awesome. And like I said, we're getting T&Ds. We're going to get the steel ones for the new car, for the big block. But T&D, appreciate them coming on board and helping us out with our program. They actually saw us when we were running those. And so we'll do a video on those when we get those. So now, the real question. What are we going to do with the small block? Pretty sure that we are not going to put it in the new car. It's not going in there. The big block is happy. Now, the big block's not super happy on the backside, but I think we're going to be add a bunch of weight to that to make it happy. I think we can make it work. So it's not going to do that. So now we got two options. Let me show you. Option number one. This Corvette. We bought this Corvette for Chase last year, and we were kind of going to do some drag and drive stuff. We haven't done anything with it. So it's just sitting here. It's a nice Corvette. Pretty good. Good shape. Decent shape. Battery's dead in it right now, but it's got 350 LT1. So it's got nothing exotic in it. Nothing special, but it's in pretty good shape. But, so do we want to do that? It does have an independent rear end. Oh, there's the cat. Watch. He's fixing to come join us on our YouTube video. What do you think, Orangey? Yes, the cat's name is Orangey. Hi, Orangey. Hi, Bubba. So this is our cat that Chase and all the neighborhood kids named Orangey about 7 years ago, because that's what 7-year-olds name cats. They're very literal. So what do you think, Orangey? Should we put it in the Corvette, or do we need to put it in the OG car? So that's the other option, guys. The other option is maybe we sell the Corvette because it's not really doing anything for us. We cut the roll cage out of the OG car. It's just sitting over at Brian's shop. It's just sitting out there collecting dust. It is still race ready for the most part. We got a few things we need to do to it. If we cut the cage out of it, it's got an 8.8 in it. It's got double V locks on the back. Nick added some bars and stuff to it, but I'm thinking about cutting the cage out of it, putting a 10-point back in it, and doing some drag and drive with that. Y'all saw the plates in 28s this past weekend with Old Man's Garage, SRC, those guys up in Ohio. If y'all been watching the channel for a while, you understand that my heart was not in a double frame rail tube chassis car. I've been trying to get classes for stock style suspension, you know, not necessarily drag and drive stuff, but that is cool too. I mean, I've got a title for my car. I've had it forever. So that's my options, guys. What do you think? Bring back the OG car. Of course, if we bring back the OG car, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be, you know, it's not going to be pretty. You know, this is in much better shape. I'm worried about the weak link in the rear end, but the motor set back on this. You know, we could put a little motor, cage in this one. Brandon up at RJ's, they're doing a lot of cage work now. And, I mean, we could get Brandon to put a cage in this pretty easy, like a 10-point. And, I mean, obviously, I think it would be pretty cool to have a Corvette. The only thing I'm scared about is that rear end, that independent rear suspension. When does it become a problem? You know, is it a problem? I know it is a problem at some point. It's got 700 in it. I have a Power Glide. I'm taking my Hughes converter out. So my Hughes torque converter is coming out. So I've got a torque converter. So we're going to change the oil in the race car this week too. So again, I appreciate Circle D coming on board. Pete, this is, I don't know if I follow him on Facebook, but we showed y'all a little bit of this Circle D stuff. Hold on. Look at that goodness. It's got a billet back in plate. This is a 264 millimeter converter with the 207 stator in it. Still got to get up with Lyle on this stuff. Got a lot to do. But what do y'all think, guys? OG car or Corvette? What do y'all think would be the most fun? What do you think the channel would help growth on the channel? That's the thing we got to figure out. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all following along. We got a lot of racing content happening. Hopefully, we're going to go testing this weekend with a new car. We're going down to Randy's. They are working on it. I can't wait to show you that. Brandon will be posting some stuff on his channel. And today in the shop, if y'all have not already subscribed to his channel, go subscribe. He's going to be posting some videos on what he's been doing working on the race car. And so it'll probably come out about the same time mine does, or maybe a little bit before. But it's pretty cool. I think y'all are going to be excited. I'm excited. So hopefully we'll be testing this weekend, racing next weekend. We got to decide where we're going to go. There's a couple of big races happening, and we just got to decide where we're going to go. Got some more information I'm going to share with y'all too. Probably tomorrow I'm going to sit down and do another video about what we found, something that was an issue at the digger die last weekend when we were at the back of the track. It started happening on Saturday, and I didn't catch exactly what it was until the final round when we lost, and that potentially had something to do with us losing as well, losing the tire. I'll show y'all what happened on that. So that was very interesting. All right, guys, comment, like, and subscribe. Appreciate it.